Yeah.
Really?
Ooh, we'll talk about that at a later date.
Really? Because we're live.
Hey.
Live on Facebook. So let me
What is that? Why are you playing the Rocky music? You're gonna get our line shut off. We do not own the rights to that.
Oh, we do not own the rights to that.
Hey, we're talking about fitness and working out.
Yeah, but you can't. You might not be able to.
I own the rights to it. Let's see what happens.
It might not post.
The
Yo,
government.
you get it shut off.
Tell us the government ain't listening. How they know you playing?
It might not post now.
They're not going to pay attention to little Christian people,
I
man.
can't get on this thing no matter what I do. Hold on. So do we got anybody?
Yep.
All right. Who we got? Let's see how that is coming out.
Got a couple.
Man, is that us?
Yep.
Well,
All
first
right.
of all, happy April.
So there we are.
Happy April.
Yeah, it's a new
Happy
month.
April.
It's a new
Yep.
season.
Yes.
It's a new day.
Yes.
See if Rainisha pops on. I know she was bored earlier. Let's see if she
Yep.
pops on.
What's going on, Alicia?
Alicia.
So, let me invite some people.
Oh wow, this looks really different.
Marquise
Anybody have
Lupton.
this?
Hey.
Yeah.
No, this like all this
Marquise.
is.
I don't have that.
I don't know.
No, it updates by itself.
My phone sucks.
What's going
So
on, baby?
we got what 7? So wow, what's
Oh,
going
you know
on,
what?
everybody?
Hey.
Hey!
You know
It
what?
is Tuesday. Y'all know what it is. It's a little after 7.
I know why too.
So-
I have to
Why,
approve
babe?
it.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
On my
you
timeline.
are watching
Life
LlifeTalk.
Talk.
This is a show we
Episode-
do every other week now. It's episode 24.
Yeah.
Wow, 2-4.
Carmen.
So what's going on, everybody that's joining us?
Yay,
Yeah.
hey.
Please stay tuned. We are wrapping up our series that we've been talking about a few
Yeah.
weeks back.
Yep.
So let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and start inviting people. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
Life Talk. We are Life Music, your host. So
Yep.
stay tuned.
Ed said, "Hey, right on time. Needed some Jesus all the time,
All the
especially
time,
right
especially
now."
right now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what's up,
I feel
Ed.
you on that,
Holla.
man.
Glad you're joining us.
Yep.
Holler.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ed. Anybody that pops on today
Shout
that
out to
participated in our Life Talk fellowship last Saturday. That
Yep.
was such
And he
a
bought
great
a
time.
CD.
Renisha.
Bought 3 CDs.
Bought 3
Ooh, and he
CDs.
bought three
Dang,
CDs.
that's what's up,
And
man.
Mother is watching. What's
And
going on,
he,
Mother
what's going
Roberts?
on, Mama? And Ed, man, he
And
promotes.
Rainisha is
He
watching.
promotes us.
Yep.
He promotes everybody.
Yep.
Yes,
What's going on?
he's a
That's
really
supportive
big
brother
supporter.
right there.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Okay,
And he
everyone,
be
what's
making me
going on?
hungry when he be posting what he's eating.
Yo.
Yo, he always has good food.
Hi, Carmen. What's going on? Carmen's watching right now.
Yep.
Oh, what's going on, Carmen?
What's going
Thanks
on?
for joining us.
What's up? What's up? All right.
Man.
So, did you already hit him with the intro?
And Dixon Steven is watching right
Oh,
now.
that's
What's
Oh,
going
what's
on,
going
brother?
on? Congratulations on the
invited
EP.
Yeah.
Revolution.
Yep. Congrats. Y'all
Let
check
me-
out the Dixon Stevens. Y'all go on his page and check out the CD that they
Yes.
just put out. They're putting out
Trees.
Christian
What's going on?
music, Christian hip hop in Africa. So you guys make sure you go and check that out and support them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the links out there.
Most
So
definitely.
yep.
I don't know who to invite. I mean,
What is
Jesus.
I'm just tagging cats until my fingers get tired.
What's
Oh,
up?
man, there's too many.
Yeah, that was Latrice.
All
He
right.
said, "What's up, family? What's going on, Tracy?"
Trees. I see you.
Yep.
Making moves out there.
Yeah. Yep. So,
I just sent Alicia and she's already watching.
my bad. We were over here trying to invite people.
If we invited
Y'all
you and
looking
you're already
good.
watching, just
We got a
ignore.
little bit of color in us today. That's what it
Man.
is.
Yeah, right,
That's what
right.
it is.
So could we quickly just give a highlight? Just one highlight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Saturday's fellowship event.
Saturday.
We'll start this way.
Oh, really? I was inviting people like you asked me to.
All right.
This past Saturday, we did our Life Talk Fellowship live and in person. So if you were there, we want to give you a special shout out and a thank you for coming because you did not have to.
Yep.
It was amazing. It was awesome. So great to connect with a lot of you that I just see on Facebook. So for me, the highlight was actually meeting people in person that I saw on Facebook regularly and that like comment on videos and stuff that we do that show support, and it was just awesome to connect with some of the ladies there, Carmen, with Sasha, even Teresa.
Yeah.
So I mean, those were my highlights: is meeting you guys face to face and having conversations. It was awesome. So thank you again.
Yeah, the conversation was a highlight. The Q&A at the end was a highlight. What I liked personally was how everybody worked together. When we got there was no table set up or nothing. We had like less than an hour to set up, not just set up, but get food ready and then like greet people. And everybody just went to work. Not even the people that were part of putting it together went to work. They came in, saw a need, met the need. Shout out to Ray Vaughn.
Everybody
Shout out to Benjamin.
And Juan.
And Juan Castro. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the musicians. Shout out to Mark Cherry for showing up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy. The people we did invite, a lot of them didn't make it, but there was people that we weren't expecting to come and they showed up. And that's always
Tay-Tay.
Marquise was like, man, I missed it. Blame my heart, my head, not my heart.
That's all right. We'll do
Please
it again.
invite me to the next one. There will be a next one.
And if you want us to come to where you're at, please feel free to hit us up. We'll take Life Talk anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, Alicia said she saw the rap battle. That was fun.
We've been taking it to different platforms. What's going on, brother
Daniel?
Daniel Bishop. That's another one, actually.
Oh
Daniel Bishop is actually going to be supporting the music and buying the CD. I still didn't get to listen to the music yet. I'm going to check that out.
I say we'll Life Talk on any block.
Yeah, Life Talk on any block. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
Life Talk.
Life
and
Talk.
You got to come up with a dance for that now.
Marcy said, yeah, it was wonderful. I really had a ball. All in godly love. Please do it soon. Marcy.
Yeah.
I just loved you. You had me cracking up.
She is a ball.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was actually a rap challenge, Alicia. Like, it was not necessarily a battle, but a challenge, but it was a competition. But I think my table took that one. Who won that one, by the way?
I'm going to give it to the red table.
Did we take that? Marcy, myself,
Wayne's table cheated.
Sasha, and
her... Wayne's table cheated.
We didn't actually have any judges there to determine
we even had
that.
some of the kids helping us out. It was fun. It was amazing.
Queen. Yup, what's up?
And Carmen, my bad. And she said my son told me after we left Saturday that he didn't expect to enjoy it, but that he had a fun time and would like to do it again. That's what's up.
Wow.
Which son was this?
The
Which son
older
was this? Was this Najir?
Or was it the younger one? Yeah, because he was funny.
Or Javian? Which one?
Yellow team went in, Ed said. Yellow team went in.
I'm gonna get yellow team went in, red
yeah,
team.
We were like
and the blue team.
Together.
The blue team was the kids table.
It was definitely fun. Yeah, we got Lord willing, we got plenty more to come. So
yeah,
I mean,
stay tuned for the announcements for that.
Yep.
She said, "Yep,
Najir.
Oh, that's what's up. I didn't know Najir was.
Yeah, that was like
you never know with
a
teenagers.
highlight for me, hearing the reactions of the people and like how just
all
all the interaction while we were there, and then afterwards, just everything that was being talked about, like the questions that were asked.
Yeah,
those were definitely like highlights. Like I was really encouraged to see it. Affirmed my faith even more to see the way God was working that whole entire time from beginning to end, and like hearing some of the people's questions from people that I didn't even expect to open their mouth. Like it was so crazy. It was amazing.
Brother Sam Pierce, Jose Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Alicia, she's talking about Stay Strong.
Yeah, Alicia's talking about Stay Strong.
Which
she
one?
loved that song.
That song I love and really gets.
That was a request on the spot for them to do.
That you wrote because of someone's struggle, I believe. Yeah. We were able to. What's crazy is we were able to perform "Stay Strong" for the first time to one of the people that we dedicated the song to. So that was special. That was real special.
Yep.
Marcy said, Miss T and Mr. Wayne, you already know y'all have a special place in my life and my heart. And
yes, this Saturday. Do you want to mention what's going on this Saturday?
Oh,
Ed's hyped for this Saturday.
GNC Good News Cafe. They're on a I guess not even a statewide tour, but this is on a tour.
Yeah.
And they're landing in Lancaster, and then they asked us if we would be willing to share some music. So we'll be. I don't know the exact address, but it's
right there on Orange Street.
Right there on Orange Street.
Yep. I think it's 223, something like that.
But look for the Good News Cafe flyers floating around on Facebook.
You'll see it.
You'll have the exact address.
You'll see it.
Man, it's an honor to be part of the lineup because we didn't know.
Yep.
But they say you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Thanks, sis. I didn't know you was feeling it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it brought good tears.
What's that? Stay Strong?
Yeah.
That's y'all hit, man. That's what set y'all on fire.
That was the first single.
Yeah.
Really high.
Y'all got to take that song with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, Alicia, you definitely got to get CD. I'm telling you.
She said I'd probably play it out.
It'll be a blessing.
If you can come on Saturday, we can get you. Is that on the...
Stay Strong. Stay Strong is on the project.
Yeah. Come Saturday.
Yeah, come out Saturday.
Yep. We'll give you one. We'll give you the family discount.
Yeah, it's on Orange.
She said I'd probably play it out.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yep. That was their breakout song.
Yeah.
Got it good. So we've been for the last couple weeks. You guys that have been tuning in, and you know, were able to make it to the LlifeTalk Fellowship on Saturday. You guys found out that we've been doing this spiritual fitness series.
Right.
So for the last couple weeks, we've been discussing the connection between physical fitness and spiritual fitness, and it's been good because we noticed a lot of similarities. We started off with weight training and like lifting weights and how that's good for your body. But then on the spiritual aspect of that, we talked about how reading the Bible and studying it and meditating on the scripture is also good for your soul. You see?
Right.
And then we talked about the cardio, right? Running, getting your heart pumping. All of those things are good for your body. But then we talked about on the spiritual aspect of it is that the fellowship, like being pouring into other brothers and sisters and being challenged in all of those things,
Yep.
those are very good and keep the heart of Christ's body pumping. You know, the fellowship is what keeps it pumping. Then we talked about nutrition, how to live out eating right, and just all of those things of taking care of your body, all the nutrition part of it. What you allow into your body, what you don't allow into it, and just seeing the similarities between the physical and the spiritual on that end.
Yeah.
And then today we're going to be dealing with stretching and the rehab and recovery part of that. So hope you guys are tuned in.
We're gonna start stretching now.
When you owe somebody a cap, Marquise Lepton said, "My daughters love it when I play the CD in the car. It's definitely in my rotation." That's what's up.
I think Ed's asking about the bass for Alicia.
Marquise.
Say it sound nice in her car. It definitely will.
What's
sound
up,
nice in
Brittany?
her car.
Thanks for tuning in. How
Yep.
are you?
Hey,
So
Brittany.
you guys stay tuned. We are going to be discussing that today. What's going on, Brittany? We miss you at the fellowship.
Yeah,
we got to
we
get
miss
you
you.
out sometime. For real.
Do we have a question for the audience today?
I think we're going to... Well, I don't know if
I
y'all
think
guys...
you did. It was some question.
Throughout the series, we've been asking a bunch
Something
of
to
different
ponder.
questions.
Yeah.
The questions that I have today, I'll probably ask them throughout. But on a spiritual level, on a spiritual fitness type level,
Right.
I guess we can come up with something right now.
I think we were talking about being stretched, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was a time that...
What stretches your faith, and how do you like?
How
What
do you
has
work it?
stretched your faith,
Yeah.
and meaning like resistant, like what has stretched your faith,
Uncomfortable.
and then how do you stretch your faith? If
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some
Like,
things that have stretched
when
you
was there a
spiritually?
time that has...
Yeah. How do you
stretched your
stretch
faith?
spiritually, and what has stretched you spiritually? One points to you being in control of the stretching, and one meaning something outside of you had caused you to stretch. You ever wake up and feel a sharp pain, like, oh, shoot, and then you just have to turn that into a stretch?
There we go.
Yeah. As compared to a premeditated stretch. She wants to hear that, Stacey.
Yeah, I got
Y'all
you,
might have to
Alicia.
do that tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
Tag me in to stay strong.
yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lyric video for it on YouTube if you want to look that up. Alicia, the song is on YouTube.
Yep. So I put the question right there in the captions, guys. What has stretched you spiritually? What kinds of things have
fasting and
stretched you
prayer.
spiritually?
Dixon says fasting and prayer.
Right. Stretching so that you can grow.
Absolutely.
When you stretch your muscles and you feel that sore, that good sore, they heal. You tear muscle tissue, and then when it heals, it grows back stronger. That's how you build your muscle. So how are you stretching? And then what are some things in life that has caused you to be stretched? Sometimes people challenge our faith. Sometimes we doubt, we worry, we get concerned, and that causes us to stretch. We might have to do things we never thought we'd do, or stop doing stuff that we never thought we would stop doing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely say that I've had to step out of my comfort zone, and that has stretched me because literally, like, when I'm not in my comfort zone, I am relying on God. Even when I'm in my comfort zone, but when I'm out of it, I have no idea what to do.
Right.
So that's when I'm relying on God. So that has also stretched my faith.
Right.
And also studying the word, Dixon said. Yeah.
Studying the
I was
word.
actually going to say that the word can
Mandy.
tend to
What
stretch
up,
you
Mandy?
too. Marquis said I was once unemployed for 19 months. That period definitely stretched and changed me. Wow.
I bet. 19 months. That's almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
That's a long
Yeah,
time.
that's tough.
Wow.
9 months is tough, but goodness.
9 days is enough for me.
9 minutes.
I go on vacation for 9 days and be stressing out.
Wow.
Man.
For me, I mean, everybody took all the good ones. But I think people that are hard to like or love sometimes stretches me. Difficult people. Difficult people.
Somebody's going through it up there.
We have a kid upstairs going through it.
Stretching me.
I think difficult people, period, will stretch you. So
the thing about this is,
that's my answer.
stretching is good, right? We all know that stretching is good. Not only before you work out. You know what I mean? A lot of people wait until they're about to work out and then they start stretching.
Yeah.
It's good to stretch throughout the day. It's good to stretch when you wake up. They actually say it's good to stretch before you go to bed.
I have to stretch before I work.
Right.
Because, oh my
before
gosh.
you work. Well,
I do physical work.
Yeah.
But I find myself doing it more often because.
And throughout the day as well.
I know
you know what I'm saying? Your muscles get tight from maybe doing too much throughout the day. It's good to keep on stretching.
Right.
And it's the same thing with studying apologetics. Right? What are apologetics? Could you explain that maybe one sentence, G?
Hold on. Sam P chimed in. He said, believe God's word as a provider. It led me to provide financially for my family, being laid off my job, and having seizures and couldn't drive.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
stretch.
stretchy.
Yeah, that was stretchy.
Dre Hubbard, what up?
Family, God
Thanks
bless. What's going on, fam?
Apologetics simply means defending the faith or providing answers for why we believe what we believe. We base it out of Peter, somewhere in Peter where it says, give a reason for your faith. Faith is not just blind and irrational, it's logical, and it's something that we can communicate. So it's not, our faith in Christ is not just something we feel, it's something we should be able to explain and be able to defend in the sense of there's proof for it, it's true.
Yeah.
So a faith you can't explain might be a faith that's non-existent. That type of thing. That's the long and short of it.
You want to hit that button on the screen, Wayne?
Not
So what would be a good example of a apologetic type question? I'm asking you because I know you study a lot. I mean, I can answer this for myself, but it's kind of weird if I ask the question.
Apologetic question.
Not really answer, but just give an example.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Why does God allow evil?
Right. Why does God allow evil? That's a very popular apologetic
be the first one you see.
Right. These are questions that we have to ask. These are tough, difficult questions. And, the thing is, if you go about it the right way, asking these tough questions, because there's some people that are scared to ask these questions. Right? There's people that are scared to ask these things because they answer them because they say, well, I don't want anyone's faith to be turned off. I don't want people to walk away from Jesus if we ask these tough questions. But we have to. If you're going about it the right way, your faith is actually going to be strengthened instead of destroyed. Right? You're going to build it up.
You might even ask these questions yourself. Because it's easy just to adopt somebody else's faith, but you might sit back thinking, well, why did God allow these school shootings? Or why am I still sick in this area of my life and I'm not being healed? Those type of things. We wrestle with those things ourselves.
Right.
So we should be more than willing to help someone walk someone else through why we still believe in God when everything around us suggests that he doesn't exist. Or what's the point?
Right.
Carmen said, when my mom passed away, I remember asking, why would God do this to my family twice? Is that an apologetic question? Yes. It definitely is.
Why does God allow
why does God allow good people to die?
And I don't know if we want to talk about that real briefly. Without keeping all the sentiment, keeping all the emotions, it hurts when anybody we love passes away. As a Christian, we see death differently. So, to make it more clear, like, let's say somebody lived up to 200 and they passed away, you're not going to feel as bad because you're like, well, they was old. So death is something normal. Like, we see death. When we learn from history class about George Washington or the Renaissance, we're not tripping over all these dead people.
Right.
I mean, partially because we're not related to them, but death is a natural thing.
Yeah.
For a believer, death isn't the end. It's the beginning to eternal life. So though there's a sadness of separation, that's not the end of the story for us. So there's a rejoicing that can come from someone's death. why does God allow people to die? Well, God sees it from that same perspective. That's not the end of their life. Death's not an issue for God because there's more life to live, that type of thing. But I like the fact that you're asking that, because the only people who can ask questions about God are people who belong to him. If you don't believe in God, you can't blame him for evil. You can't question him. You don't believe he exists. Why is he coming up in your conversation?
Right.
I have Boost Mobile, so I'm not going to go to Sprint and complain about their service. I'm not connected to their service. So, yeah. But it's through those tough questions that God starts to give us answers and give us comfort. So that's a very good question. Yep.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we have to ask ourselves. We have to ask God. We have to go to the scriptures and get answers to this stuff. Because there's people asking these things, right?
Right.
And a lot of times God will allow you to question things, not only for yourself, but for somebody else. So you may be going through something that you're questioning or doubting God, and then when you get that answer, or you go through that situation and you come out as a victor at the end, now you can help somebody else in that same situation.
Right. That's biblical. That's biblical.
So some people feel you don't need to study apologetics, and then some people feel like you have to study apologetics in order for you to be a real Christian.
Right.
I think it's somewhere in the middle of there that Jesus is fine with either of those, like those who don't study and then those who do. I think when we get to the point where we say, well, I don't need to question God because I don't need, like, and it's like, wait a minute. You should always question what is going on in life and everything like that. God likes that. God, is it okay to share that?
Absolutely, Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Share the...
I think God likes that. And then at the same time, you get people who are like, nah, if you don't study apologetics, if you don't know every answer to every question that's out there, you're not doing your job as a Christian. Like, and then it makes people who don't study apologetics or don't get heavy into the intellectual part of it, it makes them feel like less of a Christian or less of followers. And it's like, nah, let's not put that burden. There's those who specialize in this gift, and there's those who learn it as they go.
You know what I say to that? I say it's too easy. It's too easy to be all apologetic. I can explain to you why Muslim and Christians are different, and I can explain to you this, and that. Live out your apologetic.
Right.
Live out your defense of the faith.
Right.
Same is true with theology. You gotta be soaked in theology. You gotta have your doctrine has to be on point. Live that out. That's a little bit more impressive of an answer than just telling me information. Right. We got some good.
I don't know why I'm not able to see it all on the screen.
Comments.
I don't know.
All right.
Some good comments. You want to read?
Sharon said, in death, we also have to remember that the word does not lie. He explained why dying came into play, but we have the beauty of salvation. Just kind of piggybacking off of what Gordon said.
Good point, Sharon.
Absolutely. Sister Sharon always coming with that truth.
I didn't get shepherds. You got shepherds.
God's word can always be taught. Learn something new all the time.
Right. Shepherd said, I've been called to preach and teach his word, but I'm scared I'll mess up. You're good. That's the shortest thing I can say. It's good that you're scared because now you'll rely on God.
Right.
And your confidence will come from him. So, like they say, I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Right. So you're at a good point when you're like, God, I don't know what to do. God's like, perfect. Let me do the work. Just step out and trust him like he told Moses. I'm going to send you, but I'm going to be with you.
Right.
You're going to go to Pharaoh, but I'm walking right with you. So
Right.
you're not doing it by yourself. So do it, bro. Just do it.
Right.
And Nato said, as a believer, I don't ask God why. I wait for him to show me why. You got bars, like fake bars.
Look at the book of Job.
Right.
There's room for us to question God. It doesn't knock you down. God wants us to be real with him. I'd rather ask God why than pretend like I'm not hurt and bothered and I have it all figured out. That's just not the reality of it.
Wait, you want to put that question?
Yep.
Okay.
He said, I'm sincere. Shep is my
Shep
real
is
name.
my real name. So what do we call you?
So is that sincere, the one that's always on here?
Yeah, sincere.
Oh.
So you want us
I like
to call
that
you
name though. I like
sincere?
I like that name. So yeah, but I feel you now though. You get to a point where you don't have to question everything because that can kind of slow you down. But God gives us room to probe. He gives us room to wrestle with some doubts and fears, so that he can reveal the answer.
You want to read this one, Sam? I like Sam's comment.
So my question is at this point, and this is for you guys that are listening, What do you do when you start to have questions or doubts about your faith? What do you do whenever you start to have those doubts? Right?
Right.
What do you do? And how about when someone else questions you or challenges you about what you believe? What do you do at that point?
So Charles asked, "What's the question?"
No, Wayne's already putting it in.
Yep. That's what I just said just now. So the question is, again, what do you do when you start to have questions or doubts about your own faith? And then on the flip side of that, how about whenever somebody questions you,
right,
or they challenge you about what you believe? What do you do?
Right.
And that's for us right here and the audience right here.
For the longest time, I thought it was wrong to have questions. Like, I was taught, like, don't question God. Do not question God. Like, just trust him. But now I know that it's okay to have questions. Yeah. And when I'm doubting, I ask God to reveal the areas in my life where I doubt him. And to help me with that doubt.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So it has stretched my faith. Like, I've had to literally rely on him in the areas that I doubt, and it has worked. Like, it's like, whoa, like, this is really real. Like, this is the God that I serve. Like, he's answering my prayers. Like,
right.
What was the second question?
What do you do whenever other people challenge you or they question you about what you believe?
Okay. There have been times where I didn't even have an answer for them.
Right. And that's real.
I didn't have an answer. I knew that that God was real, and I knew he was real because of the transformed life. My life had transformed, and it wasn't because of me, because I could have stayed stuck in where I was.
Absolutely.
So, and at that point, I didn't have an answer, but I didn't feel like I was okay with that. Like, I was like, I don't have an answer for you. Like, I really don't. Thank God, my husband, he knows what he knows, and I've learned a lot from him and from Heather and Gordon, and I'm able to answer certain questions that people have now. But
it's a process.
It's a process. So don't feel like you have to have all the answers, because even when you do have a lot of answers, there's still some answers that you ain't going to be able to answer. I mean, questions you're not going to be able to answer.
Right. And some people don't want the answer. They just want a challenge.
Yeah.
And my response to this real quick would be out of Hebrews 11:6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So without faith, we can't please God. In order to please God through faith, you must believe that he exists. I'm saying that to say this. Some people have questions about God, so it's never it's never do you believe in God, it's what do you believe about God.
Right.
That's why when Tiff was like, she examines what does she doubt about God. Some people were like, well, I'm having doubts about God. Well, what are those doubts? First of all, do you even believe God exists? Let's start there. And if so, what God are we talking about? It's too general to be like, why isn't God stopping the crime? Well, what God are you talking about?
Right.
Because if your idea of God is everything has to be good, then that's the wrong one. We're already off to a wrong start. If in your mind nothing bad can ever happen, then we're already off to a wrong start. When in fact our God laid his life down, so he knows a thing or two about suffering and things going wrong. So it says that there in Hebrews, you got to first believe he exists, and then you can start believing in him, and then you can start questioning. Some people question God, but they don't have the right God that they're questioning. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like going to McDonald's ordering a Whopper.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys have Whoppers?
Right.
We don't serve Whoppers. So it starts with, not that I believe in God. What is it that you believe about God? And let's take it from there. Then you will start to realize, oh, okay, that makes that type of okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
Great responses from the audience.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Sharon said, I go back to when and why I first believed.
Charles said, a life of answered prayers, you can always reflect and recharge, which is something that we're actually going to be dealing with a little bit, recharge. We're going to be dealing with that in a couple minutes.
Marquis says, seek out wisdom. Listen to those that not only have life experience, but also can tie in the word with their advice. Very good.
Yeah, y'all go in.
Absolutely.
Carmen said, I used to talk to Wayne.
Hey,
but
hey.
now
Listen,
I pick up the Bible she said, now I pick up the Bible or I talk to my uncle to answer any questions or doubt I may have. That's good too.
That's what's up.
Ooh, Carmen has a very good question. Wayne, I'll leave it up to you when we could.
1 second.
And testimonies. Two
Shep
people
said,
said
I doubt at times, but his word removed that. Second,
That's what's up.
all I could say, give it a try, right? So God's word will remove the doubts, knowing that.
Right.
Charles said, I always survive spiritually by focusing on his promises, regardless of my feelings.
Right.
Carmen said, I also seek for other testimonies to allow me to see how God has worked in their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what I said. There's great responses.
You guys got this.
Nato said, if you were to ask God why this and why that, he's not going to tell you why.
Right.
He's going to show you why in due
you're
time.
absolutely right, Nato.
Amen.
He said that's why he said this comment. Sam said, when I doubt God, I often have to check my motives. Do I truly love God, or am I just with him just because he has promised me something?
Or someone told you he promised you something.
Or someone told you he promised you
now
something.
God owes you something. Man.
Many of us truly believe in a God we don't trust.
Oh,
Man.
facts to that.
Yeah, Carmen. How do you know who the right God is? I've always wondered that. Wow.
Do we respond?
Yeah.
This is apologetics.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can just a quick response. Definitely hit Wayne up for more information. If he mentions anything about Kobe, get out. It's a cult. The best way to look at it is you can. There's a lot of religions. It's like a vending machine of religions.
It's a buffet.
But at the end of the day, there's only 3 major ways to view the world when it comes to spirituality. Either there's no God, there's a lot of gods, or there's one God.
Right.
When you take those 3 categories, you can start making groups of what religion fits into that category. We know you believe in God, and we've seen him working in your life, so you can cross out the group that says there's no God.
Yep.
Okay?
Right.
The groups of people that believe there's multiple gods, there's a Facebook God, there's a God of the planet, there's a God of all of that. You can cross that out because that's inconsistent. Because God means divine ruler. So you can't share that with other things. Then they cross each other out. So now we're down to there's one God. We share that view, the Jews share that view, and so do the Muslims. There's one God. So now your homework is, which of these gods are consistent with what or who God is? If you're Muslim, you're trying to earn God. If you follow the God of the Bible, there's nothing you can do, and God comes to you. At the end of the day, they could both be wrong, but which one's better? The truth is in the fact that your life has been transformed by accepting the God of the Bible.
Absolutely.
So your life is actually the proof of that one God. That's the right God. Because any other version of it, it's not going to work out the right way. There's some people saying they are God.
Yeah, I said what up.
That's crazy.
What up, bro?
Yep.
So you know, because the evidence is in your life. He's changing your life. And the Bible backs up a God who transforms people.
Right.
So that's the short answer for now.
Yeah. Yep. We could definitely discuss that one. Even if, we can talk about that one for real.
Dixon said, what's the difference between believe and trust?
Believe and trust, yeah.
You gotta trust and believe.
No.
Trust and believe. There is a difference between believe and trust.
I think one is general and one is relational.
Oh man, that's funny.
You can believe a statement, you can believe, but to trust someone is actually requires relationship and interaction. Believing in God. What's that tightrope illustration? That's the perfect illustration.
Yeah.
The guy on the tightrope.
Yeah.
So you're part of the audience. You're watching. I gotta do this quick. You're watching the dude walk across the tightrope, and he walks back and forth 3 times. And then he says, "Do you believe I can do this again?" Of course, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, we just seen you do it twice." And then he says, "Okay, I need somebody to get up here with me." Would you get up there with them? Now you have to trust in what you believe in, because now I think trust is applied belief. Like, you can believe in God, but if you trust him, now you have to live out that belief.
Right.
What do you believe about? That's what I said. You got to know what it is that you actually believe about God. The Game, the rapper, he said never question God, but his lifestyle is questionable to God. So trust and belief is different. Trust is
like a surrendering of your like.
Brother Juan Carlos.
There's a surrendering there when you trust somebody.
Yeah.
You give them your life. Like
you submit.
Yeah.
You submit.
Yep.
So it's relational. Trust is relational.
Mm-hmm. Good illustration, Charles said.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Facts. Ashley.
JR said, when I trusted God, things fell into place. God got a way of doing that too, don't he?
Thank you.
Don't he?
All glory to God.
Yeah. I say, if you don't have doubts about God at some point in your life, you're not normal.
Who said that?
Absolutely.
You're just not normal.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, okay.
That's what I say. Like,
I thought Charles Payne said. Charles be saying stuff like that. I can hear Charles saying that.
No, I'm saying that because it's
absolutely.
It's totally
man,
I have and then I have moments where like I don't necessarily do anything when I doubt. I just like have this like, God, where you at type thing. Like, I ain't really feeling you today, or I ain't really seeing you pop up and stuff. But then he'll remind me, and then I'll go to the Word, and then something will pop out, like, and I'll get this like. It'll be like a really banging like session. Like, I've read and I understood, and everything was clear, and then God actually spoke to me through His Word, and then that. Like our brother said, takes away the doubt. The word itself, like, gives you that encouragement. Like, oh, that's where God was. You know what I mean? Like, that's where He is. And you find that in the word. Like when it comes to life, like when you see it, when it speaks to you.
So you guys caught off what I said.
I don't know what part that was.
That's how Tiff talks.
So did you guys answer that? Did you guys answer that part though? What do you do when you start to have questions or doubts about your faith?
That's what I was just answering.
She just answered that.
Yes.
Okay. I like what who said it? Was it Charles? Somebody said something that was pretty much saying like you got to look back at. Sometimes looking back helps you.
I think it was Charles.
Yeah, it propels you
reflecting
forward.
Answer
God
prayers.
leaves a trail of faithfulness. So when we usually doubt when it's something brand new. Like, you look at the disciples, we criticize them for their lack. Even Jesus said, you have little faith. He didn't say of no faith. It's different, right?
Right.
But let's say he healed a blind man, and then the next miracle, this dude was crippled. They didn't believe him for the crippled because they only seen him heal the blind. So, in a sense, I could understand. Jesus was like, nah. He was showing them slowly, I can heal everything, not just one little thing. But we usually doubt when it's a brand new issue.
Hey, Melissa.
You're right.
And not unbelief is different than doubt. Doubt can turn into unbelief when you don't go the right direction.
Right.
God allows doubt for Him to show Himself faithful. Why would He call Himself faithful if He doesn't plan on showing up faithfully?
Right.
So what I do, I have to look back at what He brought me from, even if it's not the same circumstance. Lord, you took us through that. You took me through that. You allowed me to grow from this particular area, in this particular area of my life. I have to trust you for this now.
Absolutely.
I have to trust you. God becomes small when we pigeonhole him to certain things. Like if you just serve the God of He paid my rent, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's important. What do we believe about God? Apologize is very important. God's supposed to heal everything, so when you get sick, you start doubting, I guess He's not a healer. No, He actually healed your spirit because He's more concerned about that. And the Word actually says when your flesh is weak, your spirit's strong. He's sustaining you. Like every breath He holds. So those are the things. I got to look up at what He did, and sometimes you got to look at what He's doing in someone else's life and take your eyes off yourself.
Right.
I think God provokes questions in us sometimes.
Yeah.
So it kind of pushes us to Him.
Right.
Because what we think is actually doubt is actually the motivator or that connection that God is going to start to show Himself more real in our life. And that right there is going to be what actually brought us closer to God.
I say this is real right now. I'm going to put this out there because I feel like I can talk to you at this level. Easter, how many of us participated in celebrating the fact that Christ resurrected from the dead and one day we'll meet Him, but we're scared to die?
Hey.
We are scared of death, but yet we tell other people we're going to live with Him one day. That's a real thing that God understands. He understands that. We're human. And so those are the doubts that we wrestle with.
Absolutely.
And shout out Melissa for joining. She said hello. Melissa, what
Hey,
on?
Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's real
I
talk.
know what Melissa that is.
Melissa,
I see her picture.
She just said, I believe once you get a taste of what God can do, there's no way our faith should ever die. He may not move when we want him to move, but he's always on time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He doesn't always do it on our terms. That's just a simple matter of fact. You know what I mean? God works on his own timing. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was good. What else you got?
Well, Sam said also believing is not just a thought, it is an action. When you believe the evidence of what you believe is manifested through your actions. If what you believe is real, then it will manifest itself visually, and that's Hebrews 11:1. He quoted, so. Yeah.
That is true.
Right. So when it comes to these tough questions on faith and getting to the bottom of our doubts and all of these things, when we're going to God, wondering these things, some people feel that you don't need to get into this type of questioning and doubting God, and then other people feel like you need to, right? Either way, there has to be a nice balance in between, and there is, just like with stretching, there is a such thing as doing too little or too much stretching.
Right.
The same thing, there's a way of doing too much questioning or too little questioning. It really can get to the point where you just question God on everything, and you got to ask yourself, do I really trust God? Do I really believe in him?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Not that questions are wrong, but if after you get the answer, you question even that, like your kid says, you know, your kids ever do that to you, where they're like, why do I have to go to bed right now? Because it's a good time for you to go to bed.
Yeah.
But why? What do you mean why? Yeah. Because I said so and I know better than you. Yeah, but why? What?
Right.
And it's like, all right, now you're just questioning just for the sake of questioning.
Yeah.
So we have to get back again to what somebody else said. What are the motives behind the questioning?
Right.
Yeah.
I think Sam Pierce said that earlier in the broadcast. He said, "What are the motives behind the questioning?"
Right. Yep. You're right.
Is it because you want to trust God, or is it because you want a reason not to trust him?
Right. And our doubts usually revolve around things that go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when does something good happen and we're like, I don't know if this is from God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if this blessing's from God. I don't know if this promotion is from him.
Mm.
It's usually around things that fall apart.
Right.
And, yep.
Right. So actually, this next part will actually help you when you're questioning God. And this is the rehab and the recovery part, right? So when you're working out, when you're taking care of your body, you need to rehab. You need to start working on the aches and the pains, making sure that you're not overworking yourself, so that you don't have any injuries. You see what I'm saying? You have to know when to stop.
So you know you should take a break.
Is that
to
like
rest?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Before you work out again.
You're going to need to take breaks. You can't work. It's not good to work on your chest every single day at the gym.
Right.
It's not good to work on your back every single day at the gym. Right. You're going to overwork yourself. And eventually, if you don't overwork yourself, you're going to actually be fatigued. Right? You're going to fatigue yourself. And if you don't fatigue yourself, you're going to start to lose passion.
Yeah.
Or you're going to start to lose desire to even want to go to the gym when you're just constantly lifting. You burn out. Mm-hmm. Jesus, after he did miracles, after he would preach great sermons or do great things, it always says that Jesus would slip away. It always says that Jesus would just get away and go and pray and spend time with God. And that's that recovery process. If you've ever done work for the Lord, you know that it's exhausting. It is exhausting. And at the end of it, you're like, I feel dead. Yeah. And most of us, including myself, just want to go, take a hot shower, and lay it down, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Those are times that Jesus actually would, by example, show us that we should go to God in prayer. And he'll recharge us. Not really the sleep that recharges us, but resting in him.
You're talking about burnout and hitting the wall.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And we get to those times in life. Where's the comments at right here?
I think they waiting.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or it ain't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
There's one in there. It says God can
let us wander. Wonder or wander? Because he put wander.
Yeah, wander.
But some people get that word confused. But God can let us wander.
Yeah, there is times that God lets us wander.
Hey, yes.
Especially whenever we're not doing what it is that he asked.
Right.
A lot of times God will.
So you need that cool down period.
That cool down.
Right.
If anyone ran track, after you run like 100-meter sprint or something like that,
Absolutely.
you can't just suddenly stop.
Right.
You gotta run at least half another lap to cool down. You can't stop your body like that. It's bad. But in serving, right?
Yeah.
And doing God's work, we'll go 100 miles an hour and never take breaks or rest to get refilled. And then we get burnt out. Like you said, we start losing passion for it.
Yeah. It becomes autopilot, and it just becomes just doing it just because.
Yeah.
And if we can probably attest to this, there's something about when you're done serving God to whatever capacity, and you're tired, now you're almost in flesh mode, and you're more vulnerable to temptation, to being hostile, irritable, and it's almost like you just pour it out. What are you gonna pour yourself in with?
You need to recharge.
You can't pour out. You can't pour out spiritually and then fill it up with any other type of gas. It's not gonna work.
Absolutely.
Back to balance. God nurtures creation.
Peace. What's going on, Juan?
And what's going on, Mother Nurture?
Maintaining your body, letting it heal, and the recovery process, very important. Right. We need to keep that in mind. Because again, you don't want it to run into fatigue. You don't want the injury to happen, or even worse than that, a lack of desire to live the right life.
Can I ask a question? Like, what recharges you?
That's a good question.
Definitely prayer. Seeking
sure
out God in prayer.
Answer. What recharges you?
That's a good question. And before y'all answer that, you mentioned in the notes today hitting the wall.
Right.
That's a track term. When runners get fatigued.
Runner's wall, yeah.
But the runner's wall happens mentally before it happens physically.
Yeah.
So mentally, we'll tire out, we'll get burnt out, we'll lose interest, we'll lose hope, we'll start doubting, and then of course our body will follow. So that's insightful. What's going on, Lyric?
Oh, my
Hey.
Yep.
Yo.
So what refuels you? What recharges you? Or how do you get refueled? We know who your source is. How do you
That's what I mean. What's the method?
My mom said all of this teaches patience. Yes, it sure does.
Prayer, worship, staying in his presence.
Right.
Says Melissa.
How do you recharge your battery? Every phone charge is different.
Yep. And everybody gets refueled different. Like for me, it's more like fellowship recharges me. Like being around godly people and people that can continue to push me in the right direction. People that will encourage me. We're talking about when you're burnt out, like when you don't got nothing else to give, and you don't even really feel like reading today. Like you really don't even want to pray today. But if you hit up your brother or sister in Christ and they speak to you and the word is always in their mouth, then you're gonna get some type of encouragement, some type of refuel. So for me, it's other believers that recharge.
Absolutely. What's up, Teresa?
I agree with Heather.
Yep. Hi, Teresa.
Definitely.
I invited
her.
her.
Sisters, getting around their brothers and sisters, and even doing a Bible study with them always recharges me.
Yeah. It's funny because these are all things that we've talked about throughout the fitness series. All of these things.
Faith recharges.
Because you don't want to. You want to be careful not to overwork yourself.
Right.
You want to be careful not to stress yourself out too much, and even pushing yourselves too much to the point where you want to walk away from Christ. Right. So I would say 3 things that recharge and help the recovery process. Seeking God regularly. And I mean prayer. And I mean calling out to God. Seeking his word. Going into the Bible and reading God's word. What does he have to say? Spiritual rehabilitation. There may be times whenever you need to get away. You might have to get away for a couple days. Get away from all the craziness.
Yeah.
There's been many times in scriptures where people had to just get away and go seek God.
That's why he established the Sabbath.
Absolutely.
Which is
and there's nothing wrong with honoring the Sabbath. Nothing wrong with that.
We say it's on Sunday, yet that's the most busiest day for ministers. It's really Saturday. That's a different
lesson. But Sincere said gospel hip hop
Yeah.
That's what's
Yep,
Like
yep,
music, because
yep.
you know,
music can be.
not to poke, at the world, but they have their ways of recharging. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Most
saying? They have their
definitely.
ways of getting fueled up too. You
Right.
know,
A
and
sabbatical.
Yep.
Yeah.
we've all been down that road too. Like, and
Right.
does that work? Like, honestly, does it last?
Thank you,
You
Melissa.
know what I mean?
I'll even give
think
you
it's a
guys,
quick
and
fix.
this one is overlooked a lot of times when it comes to the recovery process and when it comes to recharging. And this is intercession.
For others.
Praying for others. When you start to
Yeah.
take the focus off of yourself being
Yeah.
spiritually tired and spiritually fatigued,
Right.
and you start to focus on other people's needs and wants, and you just start going to war for them in prayer,
Yeah.
that can recharge you. What's up, Jeremy?
Yep.
And that right there can start the recovery process. That whole recharging is whenever you're worried about other people's, because you can focus on yourself all day, and really all it does is add more stress.
Yeah.
But when you pray for somebody else, I don't know, it's something about a building up in faith that happens.
Right.
I lose stress. I lose worry and concern whenever I start praying for others.
True.
There's something that God does inside of us when we start calling out God's name on behalf of other people that are struggling, that are going through some things.
Man, if we did that more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I need to do that more.
Yeah, and that's one of those secrets right there that Jesus did
It's a
that.
life hack right
yeah,
there.
that's a spiritual life hack right there.
Right.
Eternal life.
Now, you mentioned something, and I don't know if you wanted to go this route,
Right.
but we can go briefly. You mentioned losing the desire. So what if
Yeah.
what you do to recharge is actually what you lose the desire to do?
Right. You know what? And I didn't get to say it out loud. The question for you guys that are watching this is, what do you do when you lack desire to want to follow Jesus? So we want to ask you guys that. We want your own answers. What church do you attend? I go to the gathering. Me and Tiff go to the gathering. But we can yeah.
And we're not looking for the.
Like, I'll have to inbox you about that. It's in Millersville and all that.
We're not looking
I'll have to get you the
looking
address.
for the if you run out of the desire with Jesus for Jesus and the stuff of God, you were never saved to begin with.
Right.
That's not biblical. It's just not.
No.
I know
Because
there's
gonna be plenty of times when you just
I know there's some that were you even with us.
Right.
If one day you
Yeah.
feel like you don't want to do this anymore.
That's not even
you're
biblical.
Not even, that's what I'm saying.
like there's so many times in the
You
scriptures
can't be the
that
author and finisher of your faith. If your faith is that strong, you don't need God to charge it for you.
right. No
No,
one's
so
always
we're not-
at 100. Even Jesus, there were low moments. Not saying that he was less than perfect,
Right.
but there were low moments in his spiritual life where he needed God's strength, like
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you do when you lack desire to want to follow Jesus?
You too, JR. Good night.
Yep, you
Yeah.
too, bro.
Good night. Oh man, I can answer this one.
Yeah, go ahead and answer that one.
There's a scripture that says not to grow weary in well doing. So when the lack of desire, like when we have to check the affections of our hearts, it's usually around when I see how the wicked prosper. Right? That's usually the trigger for it. It's usually like, Lord, I'm like doing everything right. They're not. But some of the essentials, the stuff that we actually need, we don't have access to, yet they do at a fast rate, almost overnight. And it's like, Lord, why is there this contrast?
Right.
I have to take myself back to the scriptures.
Yeah.
It sounds like the cliche answer, but it really is. And I have to see where I think it was an Asaph. It was one of them dudes in the book of Psalms. Even David had an experience like that.
Yeah.
Where he was like, Lord, why did the wicked prosper? Like,
up,
why
Pops?
is this
Right.
happening? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And God showed him. He said, let me show you the end result of their life. And
Right.
pull the curtain back. And it didn't even describe it. He's like, okay, I'm good. I'm cool. I'm
Right.
cool. I don't want that. Because they get theirs in the front end. We get ours in the back end. Meaning they get all the pleasure, the whatever, the comfort, the security now. But then there's tragedy. For us, God promises He's faithful to give us food and clothing and shelter. Our basic needs are met, but on the back end, we receive so much more. And that's what I have to keep in mind when it's like, I gotta stay holy, I gotta do this, and it starts to feel like, your flesh is like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Even sometimes it's like, if I would have known I would have been saved, I should have done a lot more. It's like, no, you can't play around with the timeline like that, because it wasn't, you didn't save yourself.
You're right.
And there's some people who are going to die today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All of that has to be put in. I gotta yell at myself. So I think that's the scriptures, and then telling myself what's true.
So, if you guys have been watching over the last couple weeks, we're at the point where we're finishing off the spiritual fitness series. So, just to recap that in one sentence, we dealt with reading the word and studying it, meditating on it. That's how you stay spiritually fit. Another way is to be in constant fellowship with brothers and sisters, being pouring into others, challenging each other as we walk through this faith together. There's the nutritional part of being spiritually fit, where you're watching what you allow into your life and watching what you don't allow into it. Just practically living out the scriptures. And then there's the part that we touched on today, which is the stretching and allowing yourself to question God. Get answers to your questions and other people's questions as well. And then there's the last part, which is knowing when to rest. Because we do know that from, the Bible talks about Jesus being our rest. He is our rest. Relying on Jesus, knowing that all of these things are great to do. It's good to read the word. It's good to fellowship. It's good to watch what you're allowing into your life. It's good to stretch and do all these things. But understand that all of these things mean nothing, you doing them, if you're not resting in Jesus' grace. Right. And that's the final recovery. That's the final rehab and the rest and everything that comes to being spiritually fit. Right. Spiritually fit. You can be ripped out in the faith and still not get into heaven. Because you need to be covered in Jesus' grace. So these are all great things to do. Right. But if your faith is in yourself and what you're doing, you're going to end up failing the fitness test. You're going to end up failing the final fitness test. The only way that you'll get into heaven and be part of that, heavy weightlifter club and all that in heaven, sitting at the same table with Jesus, is by putting your faith in him, not in yourself.
Right.
Yep. We said last time, bodybuilders, when they're posing, they're at their weakest moment, trying to sustain their muscles. Fighters, when they're doing their weigh-ins, they're at the weakest moment. They just got done cutting weight and being dehydrated. They are weak at that moment. Ironically, that's the same moment every muscle pops. But simultaneously, they're at their weakest moment because they're dehydrated. They've been drained. So we don't want that. Absolutely. In our walk. Right. You talked a banging message just a while ago about why we rest. It's not just rest. There's a why.
Yeah.
When we rest, biblically, God put that in place since the Old Testament. Because when we rest, that's when God starts doing stuff.
Yeah.
He becomes our source of strength when we rest. If we don't let him be our source of strength, we're going to run on our own gas. And you don't want that to happen.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So you guys, great for thanks for tuning in tonight. This is us wrapping up the series.
Yeah.
This has been a great series. We've been doing it for how many?
I think 3 episodes we did.
No, this is three or four.
It's been 4.
Is this the 4th one?
Yeah, this is number 4.
In the series? No, we combined 2 points together.
Yeah. So I think this is
on the last
something
one.
like that. Either way, we've been doing this for 2 months.
All of March, and then
Carmen, we gonna talk. There were some things that I'm definitely gonna hit you up about.
Man, we talked about you today. How inspired we were.
Yeah, we were just talking about you before we went live.
On Saturday,
your ear should have been burning.
Yeah, that's probably why you jumped on the live, because we were talking about you. I'm telling you, behind the scenes.
You guys keep us going.
Yep.
If we had any doubt about why we did LlifeTalk, you guys were our confirmation to keep doing stuff like this. So
Absolutely. You guys, I know on here Carmen said she hears other people's testimonies, but we're watching your testimony, Carmen.
Exactly.
We're watching yours right now.
Yeah.
And, when we talk to people, we let them, they say, how was your weekend? We're telling your testimony.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're telling about how we see God working in your life, and it's just crazy seeing this happen. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's important. We try to go live every other Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So it'll be 2 Tuesdays from now, 7 o'clock.
Yep.
I definitely will, sis.
We'll be back with a new topic.
Yep. Yeah. We got a couple of different ideas. I'm going to challenge everybody in the group, and we'll talk about this. We'll be in contacting a couple of y'all and asking y'all a question or two. So be tuned in for the next one. We might do like a viewer appreciation the next time around, because I do have an idea. Yeah. And maybe I'm talking to you. I'll talk to you guys after we go live. Yeah. After we're done going live. Right. But I think there were some things in this broadcast that can be addressed the next time around, and even built off of just to end the month. So you guys make sure you tune in the next time that we go live.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So
we'll pop up in between then.
Yep.
2 weeks is a long time. Yeah. But keep us in your prayers. We need your prayers.
Nino.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Yep. So
it's been an hour.
Yep. I think we're good at this point.
Okay.
I think we're good at this point. So.
Okay.
You guys make sure if there's anything else that you got to say, throw that in the comment section.
We will get back.
Throw it in our inbox. Throw it on our wall. Throw it in a text message and send it to us.
Yeah.
Throw it in a voice call. Throw it on the WhatsApp.
Right. Throw it in a meme. I don't know.
Throw it in a meme and send it.
Send it in a prayer. We'll receive it in the spirit.
Right. Send it in the mail.
If we're not friends on Facebook, do that.
Yeah.
And if you haven't signed up to lifemusic.net, that's where you can find our music. A lot of it is for free.
Yes.
We send out 3 emails a week of just encouragement.
You guys are still doing that? That's what's up.
Oh, yeah. I shared.
I don't even be checking it out. I'm sorry.
He got mad emails to check.
So,
you got to get connected.
Lifemusic.net. That's life with 2 L's.
Good night, Sister Sharon.
Yep.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm sending
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
It's motivation for Monday, wisdom for Wednesdays, and TGI on Fridays. If you want to get an email, it's free.
And a free song when you sign up.
And you get a free song when you sign up lifemusic.net. Plus, you get our bios if you want to know more about who we are, where we came from.
Keyword free. We don't want y'all to think that y'all subscribing and having to pay $5 a month.
It's definitely free.
It's free. It really is free.
It's
literally about the encouragement and the building up of everybody that is around us.
Yeah.
So
we still have CDs. And also, if you want us to do this at your church or your facility, we'll do it on your porch. We can bring LlifeTalk to you.
Yeah, you guys have been great. If you guys are still with us, or you guys want to really support us, come and see us this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be right there on Orange Street at Pastor Brown's church. And we're going to be performing in the Good News Cafe event. So you guys make sure to check our page, and we'll have the info up. If you got any questions, hit us up.
That's right. Cooley High also has a page on lifemusic.net.
Yes, we do.
Check it out. Show them some love.
And you guys are still watching this right now and you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that share button. Share this with your audience so that we can get the message of Jesus Christ and his love out to as many people as we can.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sister Vera. And she said, may LlifeTalk always be blessed.
Yeah. Thank you,
Amen.
Sister
And your ministry, too. We see you.
Yeah, we definitely see you. Mm-hmm. You're on the move.
All right.
Yeah. So
is this the point where Wayne doesn't press the finish button? Or,
probably.
I wonder who's on here still.
You know
it says 4 people.
Yeah, there's 4.
Stay strong.
There's me. So if I leave, let's see if it goes to 3. Because I was there.
No, not yet. It says
see
5 people.
If Alicia found Stay Strong.
Yeah. They hitting you up right now?
And Alicia left the live to go get Stay Strong. I don't know if she came back. She said she's about to go look it up. This was a minute ago, back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 3 now, because I left.
Oh, did you leave?
Yeah, so
what's funny is it went to 5 when you got on.
It went up.
Oh,
somebody else got on.
So somebody might have tuned in.
Yeah. We didn't leave until they leave.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
Nah, we good. Yeah.
Yeah, it says tips.
I wish it told us who actually was on here. Oh, okay, Daniel. If Daniel was on, I don't know. Whatever. This Facebook Live thing be acting up sometimes.
Okay, now I got one. Now I see one. We're still here.
Hey, I don't. You turning my volume up, G?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got the power.
Heather Reason is watching. Hey, Heather.
No, I just left.
Oh, okay.
It's a little slow. You have to excuse Facebook.
All right, we'll end it right there. Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what G's doing.
Song request.
Here we go again with some more drama. As soon as the storm's over, there's another problem. You're feeling depressed now, feeling stressed out, trying to find a way out.
Yeah, that's a sample on LifeMusic.net. You can download that song for free.
But it's like you just speaking to yourself. But he's listening, don't keep it to yourself and never leave you by yourself. As well as reaching out to help. Yeah. Just know that I'm praying for you. Just know I'm praying. My brother, I'm praying for you. The enemy's praying on you. But hear what I'm saying to you. Just know that I'm praying for you. Yeah.
Just know that I'm praying for you.
Alicia pops on as soon as that's
Yo,
over with.
we just played.
All right, Alicia, we out. Hopefully you found it. If not, inbox us.
Yeah, I don't know if she inboxed me.
I don't even know, but we got to get going.
All right.
Get going.